All right, everyone, we are back here with game number two. This is the Paradise League tournament cycle number 8. Once again, this is the round of 8 best of 3 match between Reason Gaming here on the Legion side going up against Orcs of Newerth here on the Hellborn side. We just saw a few moments ago. Uh, Game number 1 went in favor of Orcs of Newerth in a pretty decisive 16-minute victory. So kudos to them for a well executed draft and game coming out from them. We will see here now in game number 2 if Reason Gaming can respond and pick up a win and force a game number 3. So excited once again to see these two teams duke it out. We got Rally Electrician going to be banned out this time, so not going to be dealing with that Electrician. Very, very pesky for them going up against that Malakan lane up in the top lane, really disrupting their carry. And then the Engineer and the Magmus going to once again be banned out here by Orcs of Newerth. We will have a first pick of Aluna coming out. Going to be followed up by the Chipper. And looks like, I believe Aluna was picked up from Orcs of Newerth last game. So going to do a little bit of a draft steal here as they also pick up the Pebbles. So kind of reversing those drafting picks a little bit. Going to be interested to see here what Orcs of Newerth decides to pick up as they're kind of getting their draft from the previous game stolen. So they will need to dig deep into their bag of tricks to try to find some other strategy to utilize here. We're gonna have the Deadwood coming out on the second pick. Uh, could have a Deadwood here played in the mid lane to kind of counteract that Pebbles. Deadwood more notable for being quite good against Pebbles in those 1 versus 1 matchups, dealing lots of physical damage in the early game when Pebbles lacks that physical armor. So see if they decide to run a mid Deadwood this game. But the Illuna Pebbles, we could see a dual lane. We could see the Illuna played in another lane as well. We'll most likely see the Pebbles mid, but we'll have to see what else they do decide to go with. The Succubus coming out on the third pick here for Reason Gaming. So they are not going to lack lockdown this game. They have already picked up 3 heroes that have quite a lot of disable and crowd control. Especially with that Succubus now being able to disable multiple targets, they will definitely not be lacking the ability to hold their enemy in place. And now they just need to finish it off with the damage dealer. The Tempest is going to come out here for Orcs of Newerth. A little bit of an interesting pick there. We did see a Tempest ban coming out in the last match, so perhaps there's something I'm not seeing here as to why they like to run that Tempest. Normally we see Tempest ran in the jungle, but we could definitely see it played in more of a secondary support kind of role, where he kind of goes to the long lane and disrupts the enemy's farm with the elementals and whatnot. But I'm not too sure how we're going to see the Tempest played this game. So looking forward to seeing how that kind of unfolds. So far for the bans, we have Hammerstorm and Oogie coming out from Reason Gaming. They have one more ban coming up, but a lot of big AoE damage coming out that would synergize really well with a Tempest Hole. They're going to finish it off with Malakan. Then we have the Swiftblade and the Predator bans coming out. And the Zephyr on top. So, all carry bans as we still need carries on both sides. So we have 50 seconds of extra time here. We'll see what Reason Gaming decides to pick up. They definitely need a damage dealer on one of these two picks. And I'm going to be interested to see whether they go for a duo core or a single core lineup. And I think we're going to get the answer to that in our next pick. Uh, More so if they don't pick a core. So we could still see another initiator, another support. They have lots of options with the current heroes that they have picked. They're going to go with an Ophelia. So I was not expecting uh, an Ophelia to come out, but very powerful pick. And there's a lot of early aggression coming out as well surrounding the Ophelia pick. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they are running an Ophelia. And right now they don't have the greatest counter push on the side of Hellborn, outside of like a Rotten Grass, which is not really reliable counter push. The Chipper, not really dealing the greatest AoE damage. The Tempest, he has Meteor, but again, it's not really an anti-push tool. So safe to say the Ophelia should be able to net Reason Gaming a bunch of towers in the early game, as long as the laning phase goes well for them. We're going to have the Balfagor come out here on the fourth pick. Pretty interesting pick coming out, as they're now running both a Tempest and a Balfagor. Pretty minion heavy, or a pretty minion heavy team coming out here from the side of Team Orcs. I do fear for them a similar story to Reason Gaming in game number one. I feel like they do lack a lot of lockdown. With that being said, their heroes do individually deal quite a lot of damage. The Chipper, the Deadwood, the Balfagor can all output lots and lots of damage, but I do feel like they lack a lot of control, and now they pick up a Soul Stealer on top. So they have a big wombo combo with the Tempest, but they don't have a lot of lockdown. So I feel like setting up the Tempest Soul is going to be very difficult for them this game. If they had some kind of initiator, um, perhaps instead of either the Balfagor or the Soul Stealer, to really complement that Tempest, then I feel like their lineup would be a little bit better. But Reason Gaming will finish it off with a Madman, so there's that big damage dealer. We're not going to see what we saw in the last series with Hex and Donkey Kong, where we saw Snooki play the mid Madman. This is 100% going to be a carry Madman. No questions asked. They do not have another scaling core on their team, so they are going to be relying on the Madman in this game to be that physical carry presence with something like a Rune Cleaver, and just get him those get him that snowball effect with the stacks in the jungle going. So yeah, I'm gonna have to see how the Hellborn team decides to lane, because they have really interesting picks. I think it's safe to say we'll see the Madman and the Aluna in the short lane, Pebbles in the mid lane, and Succubus looks like he will be playing an offlane roaming style of Succubus this game, with Ophelia in the jungle. So pretty straightforward lane setup kind of happening here from the side of Reason Gaming. We're going to have a Tempest and a Balfagor lane coming out from Orcs. And then we are going to have Soul Stealer in the short lane. It looks like Chipper will be the support, stacking. He might be mid with the Deadwood. I think it's going to come down to where the Aluna goes. If she goes mid with the Pebbles, the Chipper will need to go mid to help the Deadwood out. Otherwise, the Deadwood will be just fine against the Pebbles. And then Soul Stealer here will be 1 versus 1 against the Succubus, which arguably this could be a pretty tough lane for most heroes going up against the Succubus 1 versus 1. But yeah, Soul Stealer here will need to get the demon or the soul steal, the souls going before he can really threaten the Succubus in this lane. Just too much auto attack damage and lane presence from the Succubus early on should be a bit of a problem for him. Gonna be interested to see if he picks up a hatchet on the Succubus once he realizes he's in a 1 versus 1. But I am expecting a lot of damage. I'm expecting a lot of action here in the mid lane. I don't think a Tempest and a Balfagor can necessarily kill a Madman, but they should get a lot of farm that they're looking for. So the Tempest, he's gonna aggressively jungle here. And Ophelia, he is going to have to deal with a blocked hard camp here. He has the Rub Ward. He's going to find the Ward of Sight, but that is not the ward that's blocking his camp. So unfortunately, had he placed it like around here, he would have got both, but he doesn't know that, of course. He's going to use the Skeleton King to perhaps set up a kill here in the mid lane. We have Chipper and Deadwood kind of playing in a really aggressive position. This Deadwood could get gone on here. Pebbles, is he going to get the toss back? The grip comes out, and he cannot toss back. That was very, very odd looking. Not too sure what Pebbles was doing there. Even if he tossed him back to the creeps, I feel like that would have been a kill with the Skeleton King and the 2 ranged arrows hitting. Pebbles going to take a lot of pressure here from the Rotten Grasp and the rockets. And we already have the Tempest kind of making his presence felt here on the lane due to it being a Madman solo 2 versus 1. So I think Balfagor will soon spawn the minions, and then they will just kind of brute force their way through this tower. Not a whole lot Madman can really do to kind of prevent that, but he will get some extra experience nonetheless. Top lane matchup, we have 8-1 Soul Stealer against 9-1 Succubus. So Soul Stealer is doing really, really well, despite this lane being a pretty tough one for him. See if he continues to get his farm. Luna will get the regen rune here. Nice rocket coming out from Chipper to stop that regen. Deadwood does not have mana for a Rotten Grasp. The Pebbles is very low, but he has 3 power supply charges, so he could use it to get himself a stun. We have the bottle coming up here for Deadwood. Deadwood 300 GPM, so he is farming much better than the Pebbles. Pebbles is 9-1 against a 17-6 Deadwood. So this mid lane is very heavily being won in favor of Deadwood. We're going to have a lot of damage coming out here onto Pebbles. It looks like they used a Grasp. Ophelia still a little bit, unfortunately, not able to get her, not been able to set up any kills. Tower in the bottom lane is almost down. We have elementals being spawned here as well as the corpses. Ophelia coming in here for a counter gang. We'll see if they can set up a kill here on the Madman. The Regurgitate coming out. Ophelia will send Madman home. The Minotaur Stomp will come out, and they will not force anything further. Here comes the stun into the tossback power throw, and that will be the Bloodlust kill. So despite Deadwood having a really strong performance here in the mid lane in terms of last hits, he is still heavily, or he was heavily winning the last hit battle. Great combination coming out there between Pebbles and the Luna. And I'm going to put a lot of pressure here out onto the Balfagor. Ophelia and Aluna are in the nearby area. Soul Stealer is actually doing a lot better than the Succubus. I'm a little surprised by that. 33-8 against a 15-2 Succubus. So Soul Stealer doing a great job here up in the top lane. I don't feel like that's a matchup he's supposed to win, but at the same time, I feel like Succubus not getting a hatchet could maybe be causing him to miss some last hits. Only 1 kill so far in 5 minutes. A little bit surprised by that. We have an Invis rune here on the Chipper. Here comes a stun from Aluna. Bubbles, he's trying to line up the toss. He's going to toss Deadwood off of him onto Chipper. A lot of damage coming out there from that root. So yeah, the game kind of just slowing down really. The Tempest and the Balfour are trying to pressure as much as possible. Mid lane, we're gonna have a stun come out here from the Aluna. Stalagmites to follow, but here's a focus buffer. Round Grasp will land. Will Chipper get the rockets? He does get a couple to land. Deadwood getting ticked down very low, but he will go down to the power throw and the final auto attack. Pebbles does end up surviving, and Aluna will pick up a double tap there. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Balfagor goes down to Ophelia, and it looks like Succubus used the hold onto Balfagor. Tempest might have just TP'd out. I'm not too sure where he was while this was going on, but he was in the base at the end. So Balfagor ends up going down. And those are some great kills coming out for a reason. They now lead 4-0, but the game is still pretty even in terms of golden experience. So neither team really breaking ahead of the other team just yet. Demon. We have level 5 still only on the Deadwood, level 6 on the Pebbles. So if they can line up the root here, comes a Chuck onto Deadwood. The 8-minute rune will spawn bottom, which will be a haste for a Luna. Ophelia is now here in the mid lane with 3 creeps, so she's going to look to try to pressure this tower. We have a TP coming in, it looks like from Soul Stealer. Hasted Aluna is here. Pebbles will get sent home. Bottom lane, we have the tier 2 tower being pressured here by the Balfagor and the Tempest. The deny attempt not going to be successful. Balfagor gets credit for that tower. Tempest is actually 370 gold per minute, so despite being the support, he actually has quite a lot of farm. Soul Stealer actually gets picked off here. I missed that one. Looks like Ophelia and Pebbles ended up setting up that kill here on the Soul Stealer. But the Tempest actually having more farm than the Balfagor. Balfagor, he's going to get caught here by a hold. Tempest is going to get a pretty decent hold, but there is no damage coming out from this side of Hellborn. They really don't have that big AoE style of hero. I mean, they do have them, but they were not alive to deal the damage. I wonder if he used the Willowmaker, if that would have been a kill or not. Probably not. Pebbles still not just there to the portal key yet, but we have Ophelia making her way to the top lane. See if the Legion team decides to group up here. We build out on the Pebbles. Here comes a sleep into a combo. Luna comes in with the power throw. That's going to be a quick kill on the Balfagor. No vestments picked up. Pretty questionable there for Balfagor to not have vestments yet at the 10-minute mark. Probably should be looking to build into a barrier riddle. We have a Mesmerize coming out on the Tempest. He does eventually wake himself up with the minion, but it's too late. They get the kill. The choo-choo train from Raisin Gaming is just too strong. And they will most likely push the top tower here. So, great execution of their lineup. We have Madman slowly recovering. He is, I say slowly recovering, but he is 400 gold per minute despite being up against a 2 versus 1 lane where both his towers got pushed in. He's got quite good farm, sitting on 61 last hits. Soul Stealer in the bot lane doesn't have the most mana. So they get the tower kill up in the top lane. Madman, I believe, will have his sustainer picked up in a second here. We have Balfagor and company pushing the tier 1 tower in the mid lane, but still have Succubus up here in the top lane with the Luna. Looks like they're going to make a defense here. Pebbles picks up the portal key. He jumps the Deadwood, but here comes a focus buffer. Hell on Newerth coming out, dealing some good damage. They're going to get the kill on the Pebbles. The chainsaw's on top. The Succubus holding down Balfagor. They will get the kill on the Succubus. Now Balfagor is on the run as the demonic pathogen, silencing them up. A great rotten grass coming out from Deadwood. And will they be able to make the escape here on the Balfagor? It ends up being a 2-0 fight so far, but Balfagor is going to go down, so they do get one kill. In response, it's a 2-for-1 in the end. Gonna be interested to see what item build Soul Stealer decides to go for. It has been quite a while since we've seen a Soul Stealer played in a competitive match. Pebbles is gonna get the jump here onto Tempest. Not enough damage, and he's gonna use the Elemental Void. This could very well be a kill here on the Pebbles. Pebbles does end up surviving initially. He gets the kill on the Tempest, but he does end up falling. The Ophelia minions are coming in. Soul Stealer, he will use the Soul Burst. He's going to use the wrong Demon Hand there. Here comes the grip from Ophelia. Power Throw coming out as well. See if they can line up the Minotaur stun here. Aluna does need to land her Emerald Red stun. Here comes the stun. The stomp from the creeps will be enough for a kill. Balfagor is here. He does have a 60 charge ultimate. Ophelia, I believe, is going to box himself in, but he's going to get power thrown, so nice team support coming in there. Now Succubus is here. Here comes the sleep. Stun comes out from Aluna. The regurgitate from Balfagor. He uses the hell on Newerth, but not going to be enough for any kills. Ophelia has the Astrolabe and the ultimate coming up very soon. And a Succubus hold will cancel the port away from Chipper, so they're going to find themselves another kill. 3 kills going the way of Reason Gaming. As Madman comes up to the top lane and he picks up a double tap. So great fight coming out here from Reason Gaming. They're going to look to try to push this tier 2 tower now. And Tempest is doing what he can to counter push, but Pebbles with the portal key might end up halting that plan. Soul Stealer is here, but not sure what he can really do. Meanwhile, Deadwood in the bot lane. He's trying to get gold for his portal key as well, but the trade is not looking like it wants to stop. They're thinking about maybe pressuring the base here. Ophelia is still pretty strong here. Level 10 with the ultimate and the Astrolabe coming up. Madman pops the Berserk. He's going to pound in the damage here on the tower. A lot of damage coming in to that tier 3 tower. The chainsaw's coming out to try to counter push, but we talked about it in the draft. There is not a whole lot of counter push on the side of Orcs of Newerth, so this base tower is going to take heavy pressure here, taking them down to about 25% life. And Reason Gaming will be content with the damage they put on the tower there. And they will fall back. Tablet of Command was picked up here on the Succubus. Cleaver is now, Rune Cleaver is finished on the Madman. He's sitting on 500 gold as well. We'll see if he looks to build into something like that Whispering Helm, or if he decides to go straight into a Shrunken Head. Ophelia is going to run into Balfagor here. Is this going to be enough damage as Pebbles actually dies off to the side? Balfagor gets the cell on Newerth off, and that might mean he makes the escape. Meanwhile, over here, Succubus has already used her hold. They are going to get the kill here onto the Deadwood, who already used his Willowmaker as well. Ophelia falls to the Soul Stealer in the background. This is a very spread and chaotic fight going on, but Elemental Void is still ready to go. We'll see if they can line up anything here. It looks like both sides will end up falling back, but yeah, it ends up being a 1-for-2. So I suppose the buyback coming out from Pebbles is the reason why our Hellborn side here decided to fall back. Not too sure if I agree with that buyback from Pebbles. It almost feels like that was maybe pretty like an unnecessary buyback. But yeah, there's the Whispering Helm picked up from Madman, so we'll see if they look to do any Kongor killing or anything of that nature. Soul Stealer sitting on 2,600 gold. He is going to get taken out here by Madman and Aluna. Pebbles will get the jump here on the Tempest. Double Rotten Grass lined up here from the Deadwood. They do get the kill on the Pebbles there. It ends up being a 2-for-1. Yeah, I don't know why Soulstealer's pulling up so much gold. He has great farm, or he has had good farm, but hasn't looked to really buy into any items. Ophelia picks up an Energizer. Just gonna run into Balfagor here. She's gonna find herself a haste rune. So Madman, he's got another 1500 gold saved up. I think we'll see the Shrunken Head. Possibly a Nullfire Blade picked up, as the mana burn would be pretty good against the Balfagor. And a lot of these lower mana pool style heroes. But I think it's safe to say he won't need a Shrunken Head, so that will probably be his next item. We have a tier 2 tower push here coming out from Reason, but the defense is going to be happening up here in the top lane as the counter push is coming. Here comes the Tempest hole going to land onto both the Madman and the Aluna. Orcs of Newerth comes out, but it's not enough damage to bring them down. Soulstealer ends up falling while this is going on, and Balfagor will end up following the heal from Ophelia coming into play from across the map, keeping the Madman alive. And Madman, he will look to go for another kill here on to the Tempest. He will get that kill as well, and it will be an onslaught streak now coming out as Madman is 634 gold per minute. He is leading the GPM charts, 300 GPM above the Soulstealer now. And you really got to question the Soulstealer pulling up all that gold. He buys a blessed orb with all that gold. Gotta say, that is not the greatest looking inventory for Soulstealer at the 19-minute mark. They would much rather him be a little bit more ahead of where he is right now. But yeah, the response here in game number 2 is fantastic coming out from Reason Gaming. They have completely flipped the switch from game number 1. Pebbles, he is on his way towards the staff as he has 2 of the pieces picked up. Aluna picks up a Gnome's Wisdom. So the team auras are coming into play now. The Warhammer picked up on Madman, so he should be right clicking that Shrunken Head any second now. There it is. There's the Shrunken Head. And we still haven't seen a whole lot out of Tempest in terms of items. He has the sorcery boots, but not really the most farmed. Same with the Balfagor. No progression towards a barrier idol. No scaling item in his inventory. Just all very small build-up items. We're gonna see a Kongor steal attempt coming out here from Reason Gaming. They have the wards down for the vision. Madman will pop the Berserk, and this looks like it will go uncontested. We'll see if they look to turn their attention toward their own Kongor and pick up a token of life. But they might be just interested in pushing this tier 2 tower as they're currently in the area. Still no portal key on Deadwood. He picks up a Lex Talionis, so really there's no big items on the side of Hellborn at all. As we enter the 20-minute mark, tower will fall here. The sleeve comes out from Succubus. He picks up a portal key. Looks like they were content with falling back though. Top lane, Pebbles. He is going to be just fine with that invisibility rune. So if they look to set up a Congo here, we have Succubus going to jump here. He gets to sleep onto Balfagor. The hold will come out as well. And that's a dead Balfagor. It's a very dead Balfagor. And they will now look to turn their attention here to the second Kongor. This will net them a token of life for the Madman, as he now has the Berserk off cooldown once again. Oh no, not like this! Oh my god, that is not, oh my god. What did I just watch? Wow, that just happened. They just lost their Madman and their Succubus, and almost the Aluna too, the Kongor. Holy cow, I was not expecting that to happen. That was incredible. They got the kill, but the token goes to Aluna. This is actually a big deal. I mean, this was gonna be a token for the Madman. They were in a very comfortable golden experience lead. They were looking to use that token to push high ground, and that death on the Madman was so unfortunate. That is really gonna slow down their momentum, I feel like, because this token on Aluna is not gonna do a whole lot. They they are not gonna get a lot of value out of Aluna respawning with the token usage. So uh, as unfortunate as it is, it actually is quite a big deal here is that they don't get a token of life on their Madman. And if you're Orcs of Newerth, that's some signs of life for you to kind of possibly get a foothold back in this game. If you're able to pick up some of these core items around the corner. We now have the portal key on the Deadwood. He is going to do a fantastic PK there to avoid the stalagmite stun from Pebbles. What reactions coming out from Deadwood. Big picture though, the tower is falling. The Ophelia chain is still here, and this Rax is melting. So even without a token, they are looking pretty strong here. Succubus is going to get sent home from Ophelia. But meanwhile, in the ball lane, they're also counter pushing. Will they be able to get the counter Rax? Here's the question. They got the Tempest Elementals and the Balfagor minions doing a lot of damage here to the Rax. And I think this Rax is going to fall. It's going to be a Rax for a Rax. The Succubus hold came out there on the Tempest. The Newerth blessing comes out from Ophelia. We do have a bit of a split fight here, as we have players on both parts of the map. But the trade working out in favor here of Orcs of Newerth. They didn't get the full set of Rex, but I think for how far they are behind, getting a trade here is very good. They're going to also net themselves a kill on the Balfagor. So they do get something out of it, but they do lose Ophelia in the mid lane. She is not able to make it out from the opposition. She picks up a barrier idol, so she is quite tanky with that ultimate, the Astrolabe and the barrier idol. I do think it's a great pickup this game to have the barrier idol against heroes like the Soul Stealer and the Balfagor. So it was a nullstone for Soul Stealer, but man, he had such a great laning phase, and then he picked up a 20-something minute nullstone. Very unfortunate that the nullstone came in so late. So Pebbles has his staff completed. He's sitting on 2,000 gold. I think it's safe to say he will need a Shrunken Head next before he looks to do anything like upgrading Staff of the Master to an ally. And to be quite honest, I'm not too sure which teammate he would want to upgrade with a staff. If the Succubus picks up a Shrunken Head, possibly he could look to upgrade the staff to Succubus. It would allow her to have longer cast range as well as the ability to move and auto attack. And I do think that that would actually be better than the Ophelia or Aluna or Madman having Staff of the Master. We'll have to see if he decides to upgrade anyone, but I do think he should pick up a Shrunken Head next. before looking to upgrade anyone, because there is a lot of magic damage on the side of Hellborn now that they are starting to pick up their core items. But once again, the 2 and 8 Balfagor doesn't have a barrier idle 26 minutes in. I feel like with the farm that Balfagor had this game, he should have had like a 15 or 18-minute barrier idle at the least. We're gonna have a hole come out here onto the Madman, but he got sent home by Ophelia. What a play coming out here from Reason Gaming as they completely avoid that death there on the Madman, and they bait out a huge cooldown on the side of the Tempest Elemental Void. I hope that they utilize this timing window now to try to set up some kind of kills here. They're going to get the catch here onto Luna. They stack the CC, but here comes Pebble. So much damage between all of the heroes, and Soul Stealer just melts to the ground. Too much damage for him to handle. So we have Ophelia in the jungle here. Madman counter pushing the bot lane. We'll see if Reason Gaming decides to make anything happen here. There is a buyback available on the Soul Stealer, but it would be a big gold investment for him to use a buyback here with only having just the null stone. So if they're able to force a buyback from Soul Stealer at the same time, there is no elemental void threat currently for another 100 seconds. I do think it would be very, very good if they could get him to use that buyback. It would really set him back from his next item progression. So we will see them group up here in the bot lane. They'll have to push through these mega creeps, but shouldn't be too difficult for them. We have the jump coming out here from the Succubus. He locks down the Tempest, but Madman, he will turn his attention now toward the tower. They're actually going to fall back as we have Ophelia getting Willowmakered here. Chainsaws are down. Ophelia is very tanky, though. She gets the Newerth's Blessings off, but here comes the hell on Newerth from Balfagor, and it's a full retreat coming out here from Reason Gaming. And I gotta say, I'm a little surprised that they decided to fall back. They have Shrunken on Madman. They had Ophelia's Touch ready to go. The only thing they were really lacking was the Cursed Embrace and the Berserk, but I don't feel like they really needed that because the Elemental Void was on cooldown. So I feel like they could have really committed to a fight there, but they chose to fall back. Really, kind of odd in my opinion. Um, if they're able to get the jump with the pebbles and Madman sitting on top with the shrunken head, I feel like they could have brought down some of these targets. But he does pick up the Nullfire Blade. I mentioned that I would like to see him pick that up, so great itemization coming out here from Madman, uh, following up his shrunken head pickup, and we'll see what he decides to go for as his next item. I do feel like whatever item he goes for next will be a bit more reactionary to what they pick up on the Hellborn side, but he could look to build into either upgrading the symbol or going into more damage with something like a wing bow, for example, a savage mace, just some big damage item could be really, really solid for Madman next, and then possibly finishing the symbol afterward. But I think the next item will be a little bit more reactionary, if anything, to what the Hellborn team decides to do. But he's still in a very good spot. He's 625 gold per minute. Soul Stealer just breaking the 400 GPM. He's sitting on 3,000 gold. So we will probably see something like either a Shrunken Head or a Shroud. Some kind of item that allows Soul Stealer to either hold his ground or get himself into position for a Soul Burst. Would be my guess. We have the Kongor falling here for Reason Gaming. And the second Kongor is going to be spawning in 1 more minute. So hopefully they can get themselves the token this time without Madman committing Sudoku. So he will drop that Chalice for the token slot once that respawns. And I don't think that the Hellborn side or Orcs of Newerth can really contest this Kongor because they're just not in a really good position right now in terms of the items. They're down by 17,000 gold and 12,000 experience. They do have the Portal Key on Tempest, but it's very, very easy for them to interrupt that. So this token will not go to Illuna, it will go to Madman. Soul Stealer again pooling up to save for a house. He's sitting on 3,700 gold. We'll probably see him sell something and then pick up a Shrunken Head. That is my best guess, but hasn't bought anything just yet, so can't really rule out anything just yet. Deadwood will portal key backward here. It looks like he got spotted here with the Soul's Bulwark aura. The clear cutting is going to wear off, and he will get caught here in the trees. He will end up falling. A great find coming out there from Reason. And Deadwood, he does not have a buyback for 50 seconds, so he is going to stay dead. There's the Shrunken Head picked up on Succubus, and Shrunken Head picked up on Pebbles. Definitely agree with that. I think he could look to upgrade the staff now, or possibly build into something like a Demonic Breastplate, but I think staffing the Succubus could be warranted now that the Succubus has the Shrunken Head finished as well, being sent to her on the courier. So the only way they can stop that is with Deadwood using the Willowmaker on Succubus. Double damage Madman with a token, hitting the Rex. So much damage coming out here on the Rex. The Meteor is going to come down. Here comes the jump from Pebbles onto Tempest. Succubus is going to jump in. Willowmaker lands onto Pebbles. Madman will pop the Shrunken Head. He has the Nullfire Blade still ready to go. They're going to get the kill onto Chipper and the Tempest. Soul Stealer gets taken down very low. He is forced to fall back. They will clean up the Raxes. The GGs are being called here by Orcs of Newerth in game number 2. And this one will go the way of Reason Gaming. So you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. This series is all tied up now at 1 game apiece. So a fantastic display here with the Ophelia Pebbles lineup. Throwback draft with the Madman and the Succubus. Working out for them very, very nicely here in game number 2. Pretty, we'll call it an orthodox draft coming out from Orcs and Newerth. Didn't really work out for them. They had the Soul Stealer with the Balfagor and the Tempest. They weren't really able to line up this kind of wombo combo that they decided to go for. And I kind of talked about it in the draft. They really lacked the crowd control initiator that really clumps them up to set up that Tempest, to set up that big Balfagor or Soul Stealer ultimate. So it didn't end up working out for them in the end.